typical fashion, I am very late to putting out a milestone video. Anyway, to celebrate 1000 subscribers, I'll be going over my updated loadout I'm using moving into 2024. Almost all of my gear has changed since the last loadout video I made back in 2022, so an updated video is a bit overdue. I'll try to put links to where I got everything in a pinned comment, or at least similar products if the original listings are gone. Starting off with what I wear under my gear, I'm usually wearing my summer version of the AEM01 tactical hoodie. I love the way the AEM looks, but Australian weather makes it almost impossible to wear for most of the year. The summer version is much thinner and is less likely to cause me heat stroke. I also wear black compression arm sleeves underneath the AEM since I roll up the hoodie sleeves. These are mainly there so I don't end up getting a watch tan while standing out in the sun waiting for the round to start. I usually wear a pair of Ido Gear combat pants in multicam black. These pants are really nice and the inbuilt knee pads are pretty solid and don't affect movement. To comply with Sydney Nerf's rules, at public venues I wear my Sydney Nerf 10-year anniversary shirt instead of the AEM and a pair of jeans with external knee pads. For my shoes, I'm still wearing my Under Armour Valsets RTS 1.5 tactical boots. These things are as comfortable as rubber shoes and have held up over multiple years. Moving on to my tactical gear, my helmet is an Ido Gear High Cut Fast helmet in tan. I replaced my old black helmet because its build quality was bad, the padding started falling off, and AliExpress was having a sale. My GoPro is a Hero 10 Black with a third-party battery door that allows access to the USB-C port without the battery falling out. This is attached to the helmet with a third-party NVG mount for GoPros. I have a multicam black helmet cover with an NVG battery pack pouch on it. This cover isn't designed for this helmet, but I don't want to spend money on another helmet cover. I use the pouch to hold my Signet 15,000 mAh power bank that charges my GoPro between rounds. My goggles are a pair of Bolly snowboarding goggles I got on sale at Costco years ago. They're the only thing I've tried that comfortably fits my glasses in them, and the mirrored finish on the lenses is pretty cool. Though they're completely unnecessary for Nerf, I use a pair of AliExpress OpsCore amps. I don't even own a radio, but I do use them to listen to music from my phone because waiting between games can get pretty boring, and it gets me in the zone when gaming, so it should do the same for nerfing. And the final part of my helmet is my second pair of ears. These are the Neko Mimi Velcro patches from Hardcore Tactics and cost me $80 to get them here from Japan. They're just a silly thing to offset the overly tactical look I've got going on. Moving down to my vest, I'm using a black Ido Gear LSR plate carrier. This comes with the quick release tubes on the shoulder straps and cummerbund, so it's much easier to put on and take off compared to other vests. I replaced the Molly placard with the placard from an AliExpress repro of the Spiritus Systems Mark IV chest rig. I have the straps for it, so I could use it as a normal chest rig, but I much prefer the look on a plate carrier. The placard lets me carry 3 talons with the inserts it comes with, and I created a custom 3D printed insert for the front section of the placard that lets me carry 2 fire wrap magazines. I sometimes also have the dangler pouch that came with the chest rig attached to the bottom of my plate carrier. I usually have my T238 timed grenade in here, but depending on how I'm feeling, it might be empty or I might take it off completely. On the right cummerbund, I have a utility pouch I got from Black Tactical. This pouch is nice because it has a main pocket where I store my team markers and a pocket designed to hold a phone. My belt is a Night Tactical belt from Blaster Tech. Moving clockwise, I have a small Velcro glove clip I got off AliExpress. Next to it, I have a nylon universal holster I got off eBay years ago. This is the same holster I've had in the previous loadout videos, and the Velcro has worn down a lot. I'll most likely have retired this holster a few months from now. Behind the holster, I have a double 40mm grenade pouch. This holds pocket howlers, which are used to tag shields at Sydney Nerf events. It's not the most efficient place to store them, but they are out of the way when I don't need them, and they aren't too much of a hassle to grab when I do. This is an Ido Gear double 5.56 mag pouch that I use to hold 2 talons. These aren't for quick reloads, and I rotate these mags into my plate carrier pouches when I can during games, so the easy access spots have fresh mags. I replaced my old micro dump pouch with a Licorice recoil dump pouch I found when I went on holiday in Japan. Since this dump pouch holds its shape, it's much easier to put mags in there under stress without missing the opening, which was a problem I had with the Condor one. The folding feature was nice, but it's not necessary for my use. Plus, I love Licorice recoil. Finally, I have a rifle and a pistol Scorpion style mag pouch holding a Talon and a fire wrap mag respectively. I prefer using the rifle size pouch for Talons even though they can fit in the pistol ones because I find it easier to draw and re-index them with the larger opening. My gloves are a pair of Repro Pig FDT Alpha gloves in grey. For some reason, the legit ones just don't exist anywhere in stock anymore. Even though they're knockoffs, the quality is decent and will probably hold up fine for Nerf use considering I got them for $13. I also wear a G-Shock to tell the time, and a GoPro remote to make sure I'm recording. And that's it for my tack gear. The Nerf Discords would call it LARPy, which is understandable since most of my inspiration is from the Japanese airsofters and art I see on Twitter, most notably Alma-chan, who's the OC of Jeremy's ZXC123. Now moving on to the part most people are probably interested in, my blasters. I'm going to keep this section relatively brief, since focusing on everything will make this video extremely long, and it lets me make more in-depth videos of them in the future. Starting off, to go with what's basically my Alma-chan cosplay is my MCX Rattler inspired Griffin. This is the same base Griffin from my HK416 Griffin video, however I redesigned the flywheel cage and handguard to what I originally envisioned, which is a system that gives me more freedom to how the handguard looks, and the ability to swap it out without detaching the entire flywheel cage from the magwell each time. Speaking of the magwell, this is a modified version of Flygonio's Talon magwell with angled cut, and it has a button mag release instead of the standard paddle release. I much prefer the button as it lets me drop the mag with one hand without needing to use the extended paddle that would ruin the look of the blaster in my opinion. The various attachments on here are to replicate the Rattler Jeremy often draws Alma-chan with and are solely for looks. Since it hits around 160 FPS, I often use this in objective game modes like King of the Hill for the higher fire rate and not needing to worry about the minimum engagement distance. I also have a HK416 handguard and setup for this blaster, but I'll go over that in another video. Moving on to a Springer, I have my SBL. It's running the 225 spring, a 35cm Monkey Mods barrel, and an OFD turbine scar along with a laser shroud and button magwell I modified, with an LPVO and Magpool STR. It hits around 230 FPS, so I tend to use this for non-objective game modes since the average Sydney Nerfer playstyle is extremely campy, and without an objective players have to move towards to win, everyone hangs back and just watches really long sightlines. For objective game modes, or when I just don't feel like slinging around an extremely long blaster, I have the FTech 1 Gen 2. It's currently running a worker foregrip because I can't be bothered printing the foregrip that came with the FTech files. I've also made a custom turbine scar for this blaster since the FTech requires a specific muscle to hold the barrel in place. I'll go over this in another video. My sidearm is a ZWQ S200 Fire Rat. The only upgrades I've made to it is swapping the barrel for an extended Monkey Mods one, a plunger O-ring swap, and putting a turbine mini on it. The shroud I'm running is a modified rectangular one that is lowered so the barrel is offset, making it more like an Osprey style suppressor. I still have my foam katana as a last resort melee weapon or for CQB games, but I don't keep it strapped to my back anymore. While it looked cool, it stuck out a lot and I couldn't even draw it easily if I did need it mid-game, so I just keep it by spawn along with my spare mags. Things that aren't part of my usual loadout but I'll occasionally use include a Gavin Fuzzy SBF, a Worker Harrier, and a UMP Griffin. There's also our homemade shield which I rarely use anymore because the footage I get with it tends to be either boring or almost completely blocked by the shield. Also, Sydney Nerf shield rules make them an incredibly torturous experience to use if you don't have a coordinated squad to roll with 90% of the time. Well, that's about it for my loadout. This video got delayed a few times waiting for orders to arrive so it wouldn't become outdated immediately and really hot weather. Also me getting sidetracked gaming. Once again, thank you all for 1000 subscribers. Stick around for more gameplay and stay tuned for some blaster overviews and reviews. Thanks for watching, press YouTube buttons and I'll see you next time.